Hello everyone, welcome back to FullGrownGaming's Let's Play of Kingdom Hearts. Now the first thing I'm going to do is actually just get on my gummy ship, because we finished everything I needed to finish in the last episode in Agrabah. And as Sora is saying, we can actually revisit places we've already been to get other trinities that we, not that we missed, but that we weren't able to collect because we didn't have the ability to do them. And Goofy here is mentioning the Trinity mark in the accessory shop, which I've actually been talking about the entire game as well, because that actually opens up the synthesis shop. I've never been able to say that word, apparently. But yeah, and also they mentioned the torn page that we collected in the last episode. And that actually does go in that book in Merlin's house, you know, Winnie the Pooh's book, and I'm going to be doing that actually in this episode. But first, we need to go back to Wonderland. Actually, pretty much every world that we've been to so far, we need to go back to. Because in Wonderland, Deep Jungle, Coliseum, in all three of them, there are Green Trinities that we have to get. And there's even a couple in Traverse Town, I believe, too, so I'm going to be getting those. But I'm going to go there last, because that's probably the last area I'm going to do in this episode. But the first one that we're going to do in Wonderland is actually right at the beginning. Right there. And if you guys remember when we got here in the first time I was here, what was that, like 5 episodes, 6 ago? I don't even remember. I mentioned that we couldn't get this, so I kind of like the fact that you have to come back to areas, you know, after you collect new stuff, come back and go to old areas to get new items and stuff like that. This is probably, what, a Mithril Shard? Elixir, actually, that's a pretty good item. So if it had been a Mithril Shard or, you know, something like that, I probably wouldn't have been as excited to come back and get it, but, you know, and Elixir is actually pretty good, so I'm kind of glad that they reward you for coming back. One thing that I kind of wish, like in Banjo-Kazooie, or Tooie, for instance, I don't know if I like the fact that you don't really get rewarded. Actually, this really only applies to Banjo-Kazooie. You don't really get rewarded for going back to previous levels. You can pretty much, with the exception of Gobi's Valley and Freeze Easy Peak, beat every level you go into as soon as you go into it, like 100%. So I do like the fact, I know I keep like, I'm dragging on this topic, but I do like the fact that in this game, you can actually go back and get rewarded for going back. Now, speaking of, you know, Trinities, I believe, it looks like I thought we killed all the enemies here. Hopefully this is the last one. Let's get in here and get ready to activate the Trinity. Come on. Yes, because I know another wave of enemies usually spawns right there, and they'll probably spawn as soon as I leave. But I'm not actually sure what this one is. If this is one of those Mithril items, that's what I'm talking about right there. Mithril Shard. I knew that must have been like a long repressed memory or something like that, because I knew there was going to be a Mithril Shard in one of these Green Trinities, and after I was just praising the level for rewarding me for coming back. And that's not to say that Mithril Shards are useless, but how many of those do I have? Like 200 now? It seems like every time I go to a treasure chest, that's what I get. But luckily, that actually didn't take too long. I was going to say I need to speed this up so I can transform back into, you know, Big Sora here so I can leave. But those went down pretty quickly. Now, the next place we're going to be going is actually, I'm going to go to the Coliseum next. Or, you know, I guess it doesn't really matter if I go to the Coliseum or the Deep Jungle. The thing is, though, in the Deep Jungle, there is actually two new minigames that we can play. The problem is, I'm not really in the mood for those minigames, because if you guys remember, when I went in there the first time, I was talking about how we had to slide down the, you know, the stick or whatever. That minigame is very frustrating and long, so I don't think I'm going to do that right now, especially because what you get from it, we can't even really use until later in the game anyway, so there's not really too much point going right now. But luckily, you know, apparently I took him out just in time, because now, like I said, like I keep saying, you can't go onto your gummy ship, or even save, I don't think, unless you take out all the enemies. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the Olympus Coliseum, just because there is hardly... There's like one or two, there's 2 things that we can actually get here now. And if you guys remember the first time I came here, I mentioned the fact that we are able to, or when we upgrade our Blizzard magic, we can come back and put out those torches or whatever and get something from them. I don't really remember what that is, but we can actually do that now, because in the last episode, we upgraded our Blizzard magic. The thing is, and by the way, these same things have always given me trouble to lock onto. You actually have to like switch to the lock-on thing to actually get to it usually. But you have to jump and use Blizzara. So what I usually like to do is just put it on a, you know, the quick shortcut magic menu. Or actually, I guess you can come over here and stand on this thing. But for that one over there in the corner, if you try and stand on the ground, for me, it like never works. But if you do it like that, you should, the flame will die down and you'll know you did it right. But just watch what happens if I try on the ground. It doesn't work, so you have to jump up and do it. Now, I'm not sure if it would work if I stood a little bit farther back and tried it, but like I said, I guess better just play it safe than sorry. You don't want to waste all your magic either, because if you get to the last torch and you don't have enough magic to set it on fire, I'm not sure how long these things stay put out. I'm not sure if you can, like, go in your menus and equip an ether, or go inside the building there and replenish your MP at the save spot or whatever. But I think there are 8 torches around here, so as long as you have enough magic to, you know, cast it 8 times, you'll be fine. Now, like I said before, not really sure what that gives you, but one thing I did want to talk about is a couple of episodes back, actually the last time I was at the Olympus Coliseum here, I was talking about the Kingdom Hearts HD remake, or remix, I think is what they're calling it. And, is that it? Okay, I was gonna say, I didn't think it wasn't making any sounds, I didn't know if I did it right. And before I go into that HD remake talk, let me see what this treasure chest is over here. Firaga G. And that is a gummy ship piece, as we all know, and by the way, when I get to Traverse Town, I'm gonna try and buy some gummy ship editor upgrades so I can build a better ship. But now I'm gonna go to the deep jungle. Anyway, the HD remake for Kingdom Hearts. I don't know what... Alright, so the article, this is why I wanted to even bring it up again. The article I found today said that they only announced it for Japan, which is what I was worried about the last time I was talking about it in, you know, the Let's Play here. And as we all know, I mean, I wouldn't be doing this Let's Play if I didn't love the series, so it's kind of disheartening to hear that they haven't announced it for, you know, Western audiences yet. That I don't anywhere outside of Japan. What basically the article I found said they have confirmed they have only announced it for Japan. That doesn't mean it's not going to come out anywhere outside of Japan. That just means as of right now they have only announced it for Japan, which, as you know, the last time I was talking about this, I don't think they had announced it for any in particular, like any region in particular. So to hear that they've only announced it for Japan is kind of disappointing. Just because, I mean, I'm sure we all want the HD remake. It's going to be awesome. Especially being able to play 358 Days Over 2 on a console instead of, you know, on a handheld. Because that's one of the reasons I haven't really played all the way through it. I mean, I've learned a lot about it from my brother and stuff like that, but I really haven't played it all too much. So, another thing, how much you want to bet that it comes out only for PlayStation 3? I'm not, well, I was going to say it would make sense. But if you guys remember when Final Fantasy 13 came out, everything until Final Fantasy 12 was what? PlayStation. And then all of a sudden Final Fantasy 13 comes out and it's on the Xbox. So I don't see them releasing it for the Xbox, but that would be kind of cool. And I would actually be able to buy it because I don't have a PlayStation 3 as of right now. But also, as I said before, that could be the one thing that finally gets me to buy one. And also, actually, you know, if the PlayStation 4 is backwards compatible with the PlayStation 3, I think... Alright, I don't want to go into a huge ripping session on this, but I think having backwards compatibility, they always talk about how they don't put it in because it costs more money to develop the hardware or whatever. And I don't know where I just skipped over the place I needed to go, I think. Oh, no, good. It's up here. I was like on autopilot here. But I don't know, to me, doesn't buying the games for the older system so that you can play them on your newer system kind of make up for the fact that you have to put for the company, I mean, doesn't the fact that you're spending money on the older games kind of make up for the money that they put into the system? I don't know. And other people, or I don't know where I was going with that, but I've heard that on the Wii U, actually, there's going to be GameCube games on the Virtual Console, which means that the GameCube games won't, basically you can't play GameCube games. It's not backwards compatible that far. So, I guess the other side of the coin is they can make more money off of, you know, games being sold from the previous generation on the new system, like in a downloadable format or whatever. So I haven't ripped that much on backwards compatibility in a long time, but that is one thing that I've always wished that was a more standard thing, because I have my old game systems, you know, and I would rather, or old games, and I'd rather just be able to continue playing them without having to buy, or, you know, have both consoles there or whatever. I think that is everything. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and skip that minigame in the deep jungle just because it's kind of annoying and it's kind of long too. And I'm not sure if I could even beat it. Like, I could probably beat it in one episode, but it would probably be the entire episode because I would fail and fail and fail over and over. But now that we are back in Traverse Town, how much money do we have, by the way? 1,824. I'm not sure if that's enough money to buy the new weapons for Donald and Goofy and the stuff for the new gummy ship editor or whatever. I can go ahead and try. My main goal here, though, or my main objective, I guess, is to go ahead and buy the new stuff for Donald and Goofy. It looks like I don't even have enough money for that. So, let's see what I want to do here. I can... Oh, this is all Donald stuff, isn't it? I was like, wait a minute. How is Goofy going to be using a powerful hammer for combat? He uses shields. So it looks like the Golem shield is going to be Goofy's new... Well, the Golem shield and the Giga's fist are the two new ones for Goofy, it looks like. So let me go ahead and figure out what I'm going to do here with selling items and stuff so I can get 2 new weapons, and I'll meet you guys back here. Alright guys, I went ahead and equipped the items that I bought. I went ahead and got the... Wait a minute, apparently I did not. I got the Gigas Fist for Goofy, and for Donald I went ahead and got the Magus Staff, or Mage's Staff, not really sure how you would pronounce that I guess. But the reason I bought this one for Donald is because it raises max MP by 1. And I think I had this discussion the last time I was here. I don't know why for Donald you would want to get an item that lowers his magic power, you know, or magic points, because he would only be able to cast magic, you know, a smaller amount of times, or fewer amount of times. So I'm not sure why he would want that. And for Goofy, that, I forgot what it was called already, the Golem Shield or something like that, it basically raises his attack power. So that, I guess for Goofy, I'd rather just have him attack a lot than defend, so that's why I went with that. Now here, you can actually, now that we have Fire, I believe if you cast Fire on this thing, it gets brighter. Yeah, so I'm not sure what that's all about. I think I mentioned this last time I was here as well, and I'm assuming once we get Fire-Raga, once you use it on that, it'll be even brighter. But as far as I know, that does absolutely nothing, so if any of you guys know what that does, I would be kind of interested in hearing what that does. And speaking of doing things, that Green Trinity on the floor allowed us to get high enough to lower that ladder down, which, as I keep saying, is and let's get ready for this, Synthesis Shop. Alright, I got it right. So luckily when we come up here, there are 2 treasure chests just sitting here. Dalmatians, I'm not sure what this one is. I hope it's good though. Mithril Shard, so not really. And you also might notice that I have a new Keyblade out, and this is the 3 Wishes Keyblade that we got from Agrabah. And what that does, by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what that does. I think, yeah, it has a higher strength level than the Jungle Key, but it has a lower reach apparently, and I'm not sure what it does as far as critical hits, but it also says it's difficult to deflect. So I can only imagine that means for enemies that are able to deflect your hits, like maybe Cloud or something like that, maybe it would make it, you know, happen less often, so that's why I went with that. And I pretty much just left everything the same, maybe, you know, just switched up a couple items here and there. But over here on the wall, there's another postcard. And I'm not sure if we have enough stuff to synthesize anything right now, but we could try. And apparently we have to come over here and listen to one of these guys, or probably this guy. So what they can do is take our items to make unusual new items. And apparently, oh, I was going to say, is that really the explanation we had to listen to? We can bring back a bunch of items from our travels, and this is just like the Synthesis Shop in Final Fantasy IX. Man, that would be a really good game to Let's Play, wouldn't it? But if we come over here to the Synthesis Shop, we can actually do a couple of things now that I remember. I knew we were going to have enough. The thing is, I'm not sure what I want to buy, or if any of this is even really worth it. And it looks like those Mithril Shards, we have 16 of those, so that's quite a bit. And I knew we were going to have a lot of those. Alright, so let's see. I'm not sure what these do exactly. I wish they would give you like a stat change thing. Like if you get this, what does it do? So let's see. Energy Mangle, Power Chain, I can only guess raises your attack power. Let me just... I guess I don't have enough for that anyway. Let's see, I don't have enough for that. Guard Earring, I'm not sure what that does. Obviously that raises your defense. Dark Ring looks pretty good though. Let's go ahead and make one of those. You have to eventually make everything, or I will eventually make everything anyway, so I'll come back, you know, later. Alright, so who do I want to give that to? I can only imagine, yeah, I was going to say it's probably better than the Protera ring, so I guess Donald's going to be the lucky one to get that. And I'm not really sure why I fell down right there. I should probably have just gone out the back door, because as like almost like an added bonus, even though it's not that great, we can actually go in the back door now of the accessory shop. It doesn't say, well, apparently it does. Does that mean I have to go in it or out this door from the inside? Let me try that real quick. And here I am again. So apparently you actually did have to leave the item workshop from the inside to be able to use that door. That's kind of weird, but I guess it makes sense. Now, I almost forgot that I need to go mail that postcard, and from what I remember, I think number 9 is a defense up or something like that. And if I could get off the brim of that hat right there, that'd be really good. Alright, 9th postcard. Defense up, yes. And I'm not sure what number 10 is. I actually don't even remember where the 10th postcard is. So I'll probably have to, you know, find that off camera or something like that, because I'm not sure if we can even get it right now or not. I don't think we can, and I think it might come from the 100 Acre Wood, but I don't really remember. Alright, so now speaking of the 100 Acre Wood, that is where we need to go, so I'll meet you guys there. And here we are back in the 100 Acre Wood. Now that we got that torn page, it actually makes this thing over here, you know, not clouded by whiteness anymore. So if we go ahead and read, a tall, curious tree buzzing with bees makes itself apparent.
Hello? Is anyone there? What am I to do? I'm all alone. Pooh! Pooh! Where are you? It's me, Piglet.
I don't know that they could have made Sora look any more menacing from that camera angle they used, but I guess they did that to highlight the fact that Piglet is actually scared of Sora. And you can see him over there on the right side of the screen. If we try and approach him, he runs away and we can't really do anything. But if we let him come back out, we can run around the back of the tree, and I think if we talk to him again, we get yet another cutscene.
Oh dear, I was just, never mind. I'm sorry.
Don't be scared. You're looking for Pooh, right?
You know Pooh. Oh, you see, I have something for him. I have to take it to Pooh right away. Oh, Pooh!
Oh, I believe I smell a delicious something. Something like honey.
Pooh!
Hello, Piglet. How have you been?
Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I thought you'd gone away. I brought what you asked for.
Thank you, Piglet. Now I can finally have some honey.
Really? But how?
I shall hold on to the balloon and fly like a bee up the honey tree, see?
But if you take their honey, won't the bees be angry?
Oh.
Alright, so we get to play a mini-game with Pooh. I don't know what it's called, but we have to chase away the bees from Pooh while he gets honey out of this tree. If this is not innocent, I don't know what is. Oh, hello there, Owl. Good day, Pooh. What are you doing? Using a balloon to get some honey. Splendid idea. Allow me to offer a few pointers. And this is like the introduction to the minigame, obviously. Now, Pooh can get this honey by floating up this tree with his balloon. The honey is inside the tree hollows, not the beehives you see here. Not sure if that makes sense, you know. There's quite a lot of honey in these holes. If Pooh gets too close, the bees will come out to protect their honey. If they get to Pooh, they'll pop his balloon, lock onto the bees and swat them away. The more time Pooh has at each hollow, the more honey he can eat. There's more honey higher up, too. If jumping from branch to branch proves difficult, try the Rush command. Rush can help you catch up to Pooh quickly, but it isn't fully reliable. Good luck. Now this minigame is, I don't know if there's a set number you have to get, because there's going to be like a counter on the left, I think. I'm not sure if there's a set number you have to get or not, but I think if you get 100, it counts for something. I think in the journal or something, I'm not entirely sure what it counts for. So I'm going to go for 100, and if not, maybe I'll speed it up until I do, because I don't know if I ever want to come back and play this minigame again. It's not bad, it's just kind of, it's kind of weird to me, the fact that this minigame is here. It seems like, by the way, pretty much everything in the 100 Acre Wood is a minigame, so I guess really the only reason I can think of that they included the 100 Acre Wood was to, I don't know, act as like a relief, I guess, from the rest of the game. Because this was, I mean, I think it was supposed to be for, you know, younger audiences. I think that's pretty clear. Can I get, oh, I didn't get the bees. So it looks like Pooh is going to go down. You know, he was standing right over that branch. You'd think that maybe it would save him. And if we use that rush command at the bottom, by the way, I think that takes away some of our honey. So I don't really want to use that if it's possible. I'm actually going to go ahead and speed this up, though. And by the way, let me go ahead before I speed it up. I want you guys to listen to the music for a second. Because the music in this minigame in particular is just awesome, I think.
It is rather funny what I will do for honey.
Alright guys, so the turn page turned into a new item, the Nature Spark Gem, which is actually, you know, what we know from gems. We're supposed to take that to the Fairy Godmother. Luckily, the Fairy Godmother is in this very building, so we can actually go do that right now. And also, that minigame, I did get over 100, so I think that counts for something in the journal. Let me go ahead and check real quick. Down to minigames. I guess Pooh's Honey Hunt is the name of that. And we got 140 licks. So I'm not sure exactly, like, I didn't go really into detail, like, when preparing for this game or Let's Play, what all of the mini-games, like the point values you have to get, what they are, but I think I did get high enough on that one. Alright, so let's go ahead and examine. I'm not sure what this is, like a stagecoach or something like that. Oh, another summon gem. Let's help this little one. Here we go. Bibbidi bobbidi boo, and we get Bambi, who's actually a pretty good summon, in my opinion. I find it kind of funny how we haven't used any of the, well, we only had two, really, but I haven't used either one of them. Now, Bambi is one I might be able to get behind, because Bambi actually gives you, like, synthesis items depending on what world you're in. So I'll probably be using that quite a bit. Maybe not until near the end of the game when I actually need to get those items, but probably pretty often once I actually do start to use them. I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. Now, I don't want to spoil exactly what the next episode is going to be about, but rest assured that it will be a monstrously big level. So I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts, and I want to see you guys back for the next episode.